Hello friends, today I'm going to show you how to clustering in Vicidial 8.0.1. The clustering is you have to install database server, web server and the telephony server. Database server is running the MySQL service, web server for the Apache and the telephony server is for Asterix. On the last video, I have shown you the standalone server as a Asterix, web server, database server and MySQL on one server. We have installed all the services. But in this video, I am going to show you how to individually you can install the database for the MySQL and the IP address I am given 172.16.4.23 and for the web server the Apache service is running 172.16.4.24 and for the telephony server I am installing the Asterix service 172.16.4.25 and here is the switch where the individually all server is connected via the switch and the router for the internet connection. So my router, the IP address of the router is 172.16.4.1. So the first installation is the database server. So here is my first interface where I have to select VCBox version 8. You have to enter it. I'm going to fresh install. So here is the login prompt. So by default it's named as a root RWT and the password is Vicidial VICIDIAL. So I'm going to enter it. So you can see, so here is my prompt. Now I'm going to configure my IP address. Here you can see the database server is 172.16.4.23. So I'm going to put here the IP address, the default gateway and the DNS server. So for this I have to type yust lan and hit enter. So here is my Ethernet card. So via tab I'm going to select this. I have connected through Ethernet 0 and by edit I'm going to select the static assigned IP address. By default it is taken from DHCP, but I don't go for the DHCP. I'm going to assign the IP address statically. So via space I am selected and now the IP address 4.23 and the subnet marks you can type /24 or 25.25.25.0. Then next, now I'm going to change my hostname. Here is my DNS. I'm going to put global DNS and OK. I forgot to give my default gateway, so I'm going to again I have to select the tab and the routing portion. Here I'm going to type my gateway. So it's 172.16.4.1. That is my router IP. I'm going to select the Ethernet. So I have connected, I have already told you that I have connected to the Ethernet 0. Now I'm going to check my internet connection is properly coming or not. It seems good. I got the ping, the ICMP commands. So you need to check this before the installation, your internet is coming or not. I'm going to OS install, OS-install. So the first thing, the language selection portion, hit next. So this is Linux, so there is no the input for the mouse. You have to hit enter or the tab for the next portion. So I am selecting my clock zone. I'm selected Asia and then tab and go to the Kolkata and hit enter for the next. Now here is the partition portion. If you want to create your partition, you can create. Here is my root password. I have to set the root password. It is always better that you give some long password and the alphabetic and the numeric also, and the special character, the combination of this key. So just I'm going to the install and hit in install. So here is my reboot screen after the installation. Hit enter for the reboot. So I have reboot my system, and after that there is a login prompt. You have to type root and the password I have already set via graphical user interface. You can preview my video also. So the password as I'm already provided. So now I have to install the database server. So before the installation of the database server, we need to update my drivers and the kernel. The command is zyper up -y. So hit enter. It will take some time. So I'm going to pause my video again, and after that it will ask for reboot the system. So after reboot the system, I'm going to check my internet connection. Yes, that's good. So after reboot the system, I have login to same root and the password. Now I am going to install the database server. So the command is vcbox install. So here is the prompt is coming. Do you want to continue with the vcbox install? So I'm going to say yes. So I'm going to expert install because it is clustering. So it will be checked. The IP address, internal IP address found was 172.16.4.3. It is, I'm going to yes. And is it the database server? I'm going to say yes. There is not a slave server, means slave database. Yes. This is the default DB settings. No, this is not a web server. It is only the database server. This is not a telephony server, so I'm going to put no. Okay, so here's archive server. I'm going to say no, this is not a archive server. So here's the one another prompt, built-in firewall. I'm going to say no. Do you continue with the installation? Yes. So that is the reason I'm always the advice, please check your internet connection first, because all the things is coming from the internet. It is taken from the Vicidial FTP, so always check your internet is working or not before the installation. So I'm going to reboot again because it is asking for the reboot for the proper installation. There is a two command, one is init 6 for the reboot, or you can type reboot only. So after reboot, you can see the login prompt has coming. Even the hostname I am already provided, Vicidial VC data, and the login is root and the password as you provided. You can check the services, MySQL service is running or not. So the MySQL space minus u and the root and the password is by default there is a no password. You can see here the database. The command is show databases. You can see there is a Asterix. That's mean the installation is perfect for the database. So now I'm going to install web server, because database server already have installed successfully, and then after the followed by the telephony server also. So here is my next server for the installation of the web server. Same again, you have to hit enter. So the default login, root and the Vicidial password. This is the fresh installation, So I have to put the IP address for the command is yeslan. Hit enter. So here is my Ethernet card, Ethernet 0. Now go to the edit, select the statically assigned IP address via space, and then put your IP address 172.16.4.24 and the subnet marks 255.255.255.0. Hit next. Now I'm going to change the host name. So I'm giving the host name as a VC web, and I have to put the DNS server. So I'm going to put my default gateway 172.16.4.1, and I'm select my Ethernet 0 and hit OK. Now I'm going to check my internet connection, ping google.com. So my internet is good. Now I'm going to install my OS install, hit enter. So the language selection portion, hit next. The clock and the time zone, I'm selecting Asia and then Kolkata. Hit next. Here is the partition. I'm going to leave the partition as default. Here is asking for the root password. I'm going to set my root password. So hit in on install and install the operating system. So here I am going to pause my video again because it takes some time. So after the successfully installation, it will be asked for the reboot. So hit on the reboot now. I have rebooted my system. So here is the login prompt. So login as a root and the password already given when I'm installing the operating system. So now I'm going to update my drivers. So the command is zyper up -y, hit enter. So again I'm going to pause my video because it will also take some time for the update my drivers and the kernel. So here after the reboot the update of the driver, we need to reboot it. So here's the after the reboot I got this screen. Then you have to type vcbox hyphen install and hit enter. The same command. So here's the screen vcbox installation. So I'm going to hit enter. You can type the Y for the yes. Yes, I'm going to enable the expert installation. The IP address seems good. No, this is not a database server because we have already installed my database server. So whenever you are putting no, then it is always asked for the IP address of the database server. So I'm giving the IP address 4.23. Yes, I'm connected via default Vicidial DB settings. Yes, this is the web server. So please type Y. Here also install the redirect page. Yes, of course Y. I'm going to install my PHP my admin. Yes, this is not a telephony server, so I have to put no. This is not an archive server, so I'm putting no. No, I'm not going to enable my firewall. So then after just hit enter for the Y's. So now I'm going to reboot my system for the clean installation. So after reboot my system, here is my login prompt. So I'm going to check my services. The command is service apache 2 status. So my Apache is running, there is no issue. So I have already installed my Apache. Now I'm going to install my Asterix or the telephony server. So I'm into next server, hit enter for the installation for the Asterix. For the Asterix I'm going to install So this is the fresh installation for the Asterix. So here in my login prompt, it will be root and the Vicidial. It is the default password. So now I am going to put my IP address via YASLAN. So now I'm going to edit my card statically assigned IP address. Hit space. Now put your IP address. As per my diagram, it is 25 and the subnet marks /24. Hit next. Now I'm going to change my hostname and the DNS. So the hostname is given VCCTI and the name server is 4.2.2.2. Now I'm going to put the routing 172.16.4.1 and the Ethernet card I am selecting Ethernet 0. So I'm going to check my internet connection is working properly or not. Ping google.com. Hit enter. It seems good. Now I'm going to install my operating system os-install. Hit enter. So again it's coming the language selection portion. Hit next. So I'm selecting Asia, Kolkata. Hit next. Hit again next for the default configuration with the partition. Put your password for the root. So I'm hit install. So here I'm going to pause my video and I will come back after the installation of the operating system. So here is the prompt for the reboot. The OS has installed. Hit enter for the reboot now. So after reboot, as login prompt, I'm going to put the root and the password. Now I'm going to update my drivers. So the command is zyper space up -y. So here is the command vcbox -install and hit enter. So here is the vcbox installation. So I am putting yes. Yes, I'm going to enable the expert installation. So the IP address internally found 25. Yes, is perfect. No, this is not a database server. So I'm going to put my database server IP. Yes, I'm going for the default Vicidial DB setting. No, this is not a web server, so I'm putting no. Yes, this is the telephony server. I'm going to put yes. So I'm going to archive server. This is the archive server actually. So here's the prompt. Just hit enter. I am not going to change any the password or the port number. Just hit enter, nothing else. So I'm not going to enable my firewall, and installation is proceed. So after the installation, I have to reboot the system. You can type hostname for the you if you want to know the hostname of the server. The command is hostname. My my Apache is running on the 24, so I have to put the IP address of the 24. So I'm putting 24. You can see, because all the other server is one is database and one is Asterix. So hit to the administrator, and the default administrator username is 4 times 6 and the password is 1234. So the initial setup, so you have to put the password here. For the web login, here I am putting my web login password. You can change here for the phone registration password or the login password, phone login password. And this is for the voicemail zone. So I'm going to select my country and submit. So now I'm going to put again my web server IP and hit enter, and the username will be same, but the password is changed because I have already changed my password. So the first thing, here is the web. You can see here's the system summary and all active or the inactive user or the campaign.
That's it from our clustering installation of Vicidial. If you face any problem with this installation, do contact us over email or comment down below. If this video helped you, do hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.